Hi, it's Boddicker and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And today I thought I'd bring you some nice quiet footage of me mining, an activity I do more of than any other activity I do in game, more than I do Piracy and more than I do Power Play. But today we're going to be talking about PvP Piracy and why it makes people, well some people, so angry, and where I stand on it and how I feel about it. Because, I mean, it's once every 6 months to a year I get someone that comes at me being very care-bearish and very upset, usually about me making content or me bothering people, interdicting them, or me bullying people, interdicting them, or me doing this, that and the other. Recently I've got someone in my comms messaging me over Xbox, you know, for the last 9 months. I personally think that person is more bothered by the fact I make videos of people combat logging, but they have said repeatedly, you know, it's unfair of me to interdict people and use them for content. Also claims that I boast about things that I do in game, which probably correct, because I do just show what I do in game, and a lot of stuff I do in game nowadays is to make Archon the Lane very happy. But let's go back to how I started in this game. Now, way back when the game first came out, I was still playing a lot of Call of Duty. I was a pacifist trader. My dream ship was a Type 7. Still is my favourite ship in the game. I did a live stream recently trading in it for 2 hours. It was great, it felt like a right throwback. But I used to trade constantly on a Type 7, and I used to do a lot of BGS work. I was in the Reddit group, the Xbox One Reddit group, and I joined XO day one that they started, and I helped to build a lot of what the BGS is that became XO. You know, now when it comes to piracy, I didn't really get into doing it until much later, and as you can see, it is something in the codex. And when I was a trader, I actually loved pirates. If you go back to the first time I was pirated by a member of the Dark Marauders, it was Pillion, Ohio. I'll always remember it because I was so chuffed that there were actual pirates in the game that didn't just try and blow me up. As a Type 7 commander, I would submit in Highwake, and it took them ages to pirate me. Pirate Orchid tried to pirate me and failed because I just wouldn't read the comms, and I would just submit in Highwake because everyone else tried to kill me. And being a passive aggressive trader, you became very defensive, especially if you're a Type 7 pilot. You got very good at escape and evade, or you died a lot in them days. You know, with groups like Killer Elite out there and Veil, you know, with people coming after me, I had a lot of gankers that were, you know, very, very wanting to kill me because they always got confused. When I got killed by one, I'd always ask for their footage of the kill and then show their footage of the kill, not mine, because theirs is more interesting. I never minded dying, even back when I was a trader. And the idea there was actual space pirates in the game that followed a code and did things properly, I had to go and join that group. That's what I wanted as a trader, was to encounter those sort of pirates. So to me, joining the pirates was just a natural progression because it was the excitement and danger I'd been looking for as a trader, not just a gank, but an actual piracy encounter where they make demands, ask you for cargo, roleplay it out. And so I joined the Dark Marauders. Now, I've honestly found over the years the only difference between us, the Dark Marauders, and other players is we answer the call to become pirates. 90% of what we do in game is the same as everyone else does. In fact, you find this as you've played Elite Dangerous for a long time. Everybody does exactly the same sort of stuff. Engineering, trading, making money, getting materials. What you do as the cherry on top is the bit that defines you. The thing that you do probably the least is the thing that people will always remember. If you're a ganker, they'll only call you a ganker. If you're a pirate, they'll only call you a pirate or a scumbag. If you're a PvPer, you'll get known as a PvPer. Whatever you do is that little thing different to what they do, that's the thing they'll hold you against you. But honestly, Dark Marauders are just people who accepted the call to become pirates. Now, I asked on the forums, and I got some nuanced and interesting ideas. I agree with this person that crime and punishment is completely messed up in Elite Dangerous, and maybe, you know, there should be better crime and punishment. And you know, there are a lot of psycho commanders or murder hobo commanders that roam free. But you know, I personally think open is safe. As a Type 7 commander for all those years, I mainly survived dodging people. I very rarely died. Like I said, if a ganker killed me, I used to take my hat off to them and let them show their footage of them killing me. A, it was more interesting, and B, they liked having the kudos of killing me. Because I was a cheeky, passive-aggressive trader that would send messages like, "Aha, you can't even kill a Type 7. Call yourself a ganker." Now, I posted the thing about whether PvP piracy should be allowed on the most notoriously salty place on Earth, the forums, the official Elite Dangerous forums, a place known to harbour many Care Bears. I did get some supportive messages, and I did know who they were. Rebel was one of them, and there was another couple of people that made very sensible comments about open and anything is allowed in open, and if you're choosing to be in open, then this is the sort of thing you should expect to run into. However, we did get one which was reminiscent of Commander Owen, which is that you should get consent and then just fly away if they don't give consent to be pirated, which I've got to say,
You serious?
this is actually a point of view I've heard before, that if the person doesn't consent to being robbed or attacked, you shouldn't be able to attack them. This is why I believe the next version of Elite Dangerous will have that opt-in, opt-out of PvP, the same as No Man's Sky's got at the moment, and many other games. I think hasn't there's a few MMOs I know that's got it. The Division, that's the one I was thinking of. I think the Division has got that thing as well. There's also a lot of MMOs where if you shoot someone, it only triggers PvP if they shoot back, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I personally like the fact open is open in the Wild West. Some people don't, and I kind of, even though I think that point of view is ridiculous about consenting to activities, because I think the consent comes from when you choose to play in open, I kind of do understand where people are coming from, to a certain extent. And like I said, I'm not ragging on, I don't want to rag on any of these people. These are their opinions, they're free to give them. I'm a great advocate for freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And yeah, I might not agree with the opinions, but they are free to make them. Then we had one that's kind of the usual, that, you know, he believes that you'll get karma in the real world for the levels of stress this act induces. I wouldn't play an open if being pirated induces stress in you, if video games in general induce stress in you, maybe you shouldn't play an open. But always try and remember, just because someone's a bad guy in a video game does not mean they're a bad guy in real life. We always say,
"You are a bad guy, but this does not mean you're a bad guy."
Now, I was actually gratified to see most of the messages I got were encouraging. They were very sensible takes. Takes about being an open, being the consent to PvP, power play being a consent to PvP, you know, piracy being allowed in the codex. You can set your character piracy, which at some point I do show in this video. You can, you know, there's all sorts of things that they put in this game to support player v player piracy. And in fact, there's an interview from David Rayburn, which I could not find anywhere these days, where he actually discussed PvP piracy. And we actually, as Dark Marauders, we played with members of the community management team who enjoyed what we did. We even tried to kidnap one of the community management team on a live stream, and they absolutely loved it. They managed to escape, which was most annoying. Polo failed an interdiction, which is incredibly rare for Polo to be fair, but yeah. And I did watch how the dev escaped from the interdiction, and I swear they know something about interdictions they're not telling us. But I digress. You know, the community team have told us they love what we do. PvP piracy is allowed, it's part of the game. We have hatch breakers, collector limpets, we have manifest scanners. You know, the entire thing is designed around being able to pirate other players. Now, people think I'm some hideous bully that bullies players constantly and does this, that and the other, and they judge me as a pirate 90% of the time. But oddly, I spend way more time. I mine 3,000 to 4,000 tons of bromulite a month. Do you know how long that takes? Do you know how much time I spend mining? I work nights quite a lot, and in between my 2 sets of night shifts, I will stay on night mode and I will mine. I will mine for 7 hours of an evening watching movies, making YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos, but basically, you know, mining for the most part. And yeah, now this take was actually one that I appreciate, because like if we were to be like constantly harassing a single player and over again and chasing them around, I do think that would be wrong. However, the way we do it with blockading a system and then pirating everyone, it's, you know, we're not like this guy.
I am the one who knocks.
You know, the Dark Marauders are an eclectic bunch of individuals. You wouldn't believe the levels of diversity we've got in the group. You know, we've got gay, straight, trans, multi-ethnic, multinational people from all over the world, people from all, like, language-wise, absolutely insane. You know, we've had you know, so much fun, from crazy Spaniards, mad Italians, drunk Germans. We've got it all, you know, because people like to just role play as the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy!
What was I saying? Oh yeah, you know, we got, you know, so many varied people. We've even got gingers and soulless people like me, part Japanese. All sorts of people in the Dark Marauders. And yeah, we never, our entire like recruitment policy was just no loggers and keep it around 50 people. Generally, you found with the bigger squadrons, A, you probably get some people that you don't want in there, and B, the larger they get, the more chance there's a logger in amongst the ranks, especially in new squadrons. I feel sorry for like squadrons like Blop or Brep or that, because they tended to recruit anyone and then they got a bad reputation for being loggers, but percentage wise they were actually like quite small. It's even IED, a lot of their loggers were down to the fact they were quite a noob scoop squadron, and so they did just, you know, recruit a lot of people that didn't understand the rules, did the stupid thing, and ended up on YouTube. So it gave them a kind of bad reputation. But, you know, when you've got hundreds of members, this sort of thing happens. I did love this comment. Scooby did killed a combat logger recently, and someone said, "Gods love griefers." It's killing a combat logger, so, you know, honestly, that's not griefing, that's just justice. But all in all, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think some of these takes are correct? Do you think PvP piracy should be allowed? You know, I know my channel is people mostly accepting of me doing PvP piracy. I did a poll recently and nobody from the no side actually made a comment, which was disappointing. You are free to speak on this channel, guys. Like, there shouldn't be any witch hunting and horribleness over comments. But yeah, you know, 2 or 3% said nah, so let's hear from you. That's all. Thank you very much for watching, and always remember,
everything's better with Piracy.